welcome to the Comic Book Report on Exit 92 Radio.
That's right, everybody. Welcome to the Comic Book Report on Exit 92 Radio with the Big Bad Boo Bear himself. Tonight on 8/8/2016, we got a sort of a twofer for you. Well, if there was such a thing as an 11fer, that's what we would call it. But I don't think there is. So we're going with twofer, as in we are reviewing Injustice Gods Among Us Year 4. And not only that, we are also reviewing the first 10 issues of HellBlazer. Yes, HellBlazer. Some of you are taken back at those words. The great John Constantine. Well, after I read as much of Injustice Gods Among Us as I have, I really got a hankering for some Constantine, and I really don't want to watch the movie because, well, we all know the movie was good, but it definitely does not follow Constantine. So, here we are. Now, the reason I'm not doing Year 4 and 5 for Injustice Gods Among Us, like I said I would be, is because unfortunately the site that I'm running with in the moment does not have Year 5. Well, it has Year 5, but it doesn't have all of Year 5. So I read all of Year 4, then I got there and went to go do Year 5, and it gets to like issue 34. And then it cuts off, and I'm like, well, where's the next fucking issue? Excuse me. Yeah, so, anyways, I was very frustrated after almost hurling, well, I did literally hurl things across the room for at least a few minutes. Then almost hurling the laptop, I decided to say, fuck it, let's read something else. So, oh, by the way, yo, Garrett De Benedetti. I think I got your name right that time. We're still calling you Benny. Good to see you, Benny, out there in the chat. Yeah, so, I checked it out. I checked out all of Year 4. That's all I could read at the moment because I unfortunately still have yet to find Year 5. So, we're going to talk about Year 4. Year 4, where we left off. Years 1 through 3 were really good. I actually have some cons about Year 4. Some stuff that I didn't quite like. It doesn't really knock it down too much. I still say Year 4 scores high on my scale here. But I have to say there were a few things that did kind of bother me. And that is, number one, it felt like the writing sort of, kind of became a little immature. And there were a few moments where it seemed like Batman had turned into a child trying to get at Batman, or Batman had turned into a child trying to get at Superman. And it's like, I get it. They're enemies right now. This is, a great story of those two fighting each other. And he's going to, of course, try to stab at him a little bit mentally and physically. But it just felt like it was a little too much. And I thought that they were kind of overdoing it a bit. And it did take away from the story a little bit. Because they were at Wayne Manor. What's his name had called him out? Bane had called him out. And he went to Wayne Manor to fight Bane. And instead he didn't fight Bane. He outsmarted him, just trying to make time so that way Batgirl could get in to the lair of Bane and a couple of his cohorts to try and get Catwoman back. Well, at one point he throws down a damn smoke bomb, and Bruce is like, or not Bruce, Wayne is like, really, Bruce? Smoke bomb? He's like, lead based, and then he's like, see you later, Clark. It's just like, come on, man, you're not 13. This isn't the schoolyard. You can be a little more serious, something. And then they turn Catwoman into this lovey lovey-dovey fucking, oh my god, every issue. I can't handle this, Bruce. I'm gonna have to leave. I can't handle it. Jesus Christ, bitch. Just go. Like, there was literally 2 issues in a row where she walked out. And I get it. You know, you think that the cause is become worthless and you're not going to win against Superman. That's fine. You know, and definitely if they want her to walk out on Batman to put him in this dark place, go ahead. You know, it's fine. But 2 issues in a row, you're overdoing it. It's turned into this soap opera, you know, fucking love thing. And it's annoying. And I'm like, by the end of it, I'm just like, bitch, leave. Go. Like, leave. It's fucking annoying. I mean, other than that, the rest of the comic was pretty good. The rest of the year on it. Like I said, I highly suggest any DC fans out there, if you haven't read it, check it out. And if you're strictly DC and like you really don't want to shy away from the DC universe, which some people do. Some people are very big on just DC or just Marvel, and they feel like a traitor if they go towards the other comics. Then this would be the equivalent, and I want to talk about this for a minute. This would be the equivalent to Marvel's Civil War, for you Marvel fans out there who've never read any DC. It's really good. I always loved the Civil War. I thought the Civil War was really good. I do plan on reviewing that one day, as soon as I can muster up the gonads to sit down and read all of that. My God, there's so much. There's so much. But it's all good. I read a lot of it. I didn't get to finish it back in the day when it was coming out month. But yeah, so if you've ever read Civil War and you're a Marvel fan trying to get into DC or anything like that, or, you know, Marvel fans, if you don't want to read DC and you're here listening, it's like Civil War. And I would, like I said, I would highly suggest it to anyone who gets the chance. It's just a great comic. You know, you've got all these different characters. See, that's one other thing that I really enjoyed, was the fact that all these different characters are coming in and taking their own places and doing their own thing to try and help Batman and the Insurgency defeat the tyrannical, evil Superman, and I guess we're still calling them the Justice League. I feel that their name should be changed, though, specifically for this comic. I mean, we have the Insurgency and the Regime. I guess, you know, they do call them the Regime, so we could just call them the Regime. You know, they are that. They are a, you know, it's just surprising. The character changes. I mean, you know, albeit we are in an alternative universe, but still, just thinking about the Superman and especially the Wonder Woman, you know, that I grew up looking at, you know, as far as comics and cartoons, Superman comics and cartoons, the character diversification that you have here is so interesting, because Diana is not, I mean, she's always been a warrior princess, but really it comes out in the Injustice Gods Among Us series. And, you know, like Garrett in the comment section here, he says if you like the game, you will like the comic. It's 100% true. I mean, honestly, like I said the last time I did a review on Injustice, the game was good. I would give the game like a 7 out of 10. That's because I'm not a big Street Fighter game, like a big Mortal Kombat type guy. Nothing wrong with those games. Never been my thing. But the reason the game scores so high is because of the cutscenes. My God, they were so interesting. I found myself just enthralled in the cutscenes coming on at the end of every fight sequence. I will be honest with you. I eventually, you know, tried to find some cheats and stuff just to get through the battles quicker, just to watch the cutscenes, because they were just so great. The story of the video game was just so good that you really get into it. You get into watching it. And if I were you, if you have the chance, get on YouTube, look up the full story, because the video game story takes place after these comic books are already over. And if you just want to skip ahead, find out what happens, and watch it in a video form, then yeah, go and watch that on YouTube. There's plenty of them. I looked already because I watched it the other day. But if you want to read the comics, matter of fact, if you want to read the comics at least up to partial of 5, I can actually give you a hand. 1 second. I should have pulled this up earlier, but instead, like a moron, I decided to procrastinate. I am the procrastinator. Oh, yeah. Procrastinators, unite! Tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. But, here it is, Injustice Gods Among Us. This is issue 1. Yeah, or not, yeah, this is the beginning of issue 1. Let me get you there. Get you a link. I think that is. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, here it is. Yes, I know you do. Everybody loves me. You can't not love me because I'm awesome. That you couldn't. I mean, I'm not. I'm just so lovable. But yeah, so I would give year 4. I'm gonna give it an 8, or not an 8. I don't do out of 10s on these. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Specifically because of the issues with the writing, because I feel like the writing changed a little bit. The story was still good. All the different characters. It's the diversification of characters and the attitude of the characters is so greatly changed. That's good. But the writing and the way they changed Catwoman, I don't know. It feels like they just kind of dumbed it down a little bit. And I know you're looking for a specific age group, but still, you can't, But I will give Injustice Gods Among Us Year 4 a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 dead Green Lantern Corps. If you've read it, you'll understand. But yeah, so 4 out of 5 for Year 4. 5 out of 5 for Years 1 through 3. As soon as I can get a completed Year 5, I will get that to you as well, and we will give it an average score for the whole series. I believe Year 5 is the final year. I'm not sure, though. But yeah, so as promised, that is not the only reviewing we will be doing tonight. We're going to be doing a quick review, and I'm going to actually try and do these. Hold on one second. I got to fix this real quick. I'm back. Sorry about that, everybody. Had to fix something real quick. Hope you can still hear me. I'm having a little bit of issues with my mic tonight. But, yeah, so after reading Injustice Gods Among Us, Year 3 featured heavily on Constantine and some members of Justice League Dark, and I definitely plan on checking out Justice League Dark. But I really wanted to get into Constantine, the real Constantine, not the one from the Keanu Reeves movie, but the one from the series of comic books called HellBlazer. Now, for those of you who aren't very familiar with Constantine, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. And this isn't the movie Constantine. They were very close related, but I'm going to be honest, as a fan of both Constantine the movie and Constantine the comic book series, I will say the movie was good, but it was in no way related to Constantine the comic book series. And here's the reason why. John Constantine is British. John Constantine it had a different attitude. Like, it was close. They got a good actor for it, but he just wasn't British, and that just sort of took so much away. He was not American, he didn't live in L.A. Even as a Brit, he didn't live in L.A. or anything like that. He was from the UK. He was just... That really is the biggest issue, is the fact that, he didn't live in L.A., he was not a Brit, or he wasn't American, and, Chaz was as well British, and Chaz was older, way older, but it's just, I didn't quite think that he was not suave enough. Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely not suave enough there, Garrett. Yeah, there was just some differences. I mean, Keanu Reeves did a good Constantine, but not the Constantine that we really should have been used to. And I didn't know anything about Constantine until I seen the movie. So, I mean, of course, I'm late. I'm young. I'm 24. So, I'm just now getting into HellBlazer, and this is the first 10 issues we're going to be talking about tonight. But I'm going to give you guys a quick catch-up on Constantine. So let's start from the beginning. Constantine was born in 1953, to his mother, Mary Jane. Now, I don't know his father's name, but his mother died in childbirth, and so did his twin brother, who she was pregnant with as well. The legend is that he choked his twin brother to death with with the umbilical cord. So, you know, he is born, his father automatically resents him, and they have a very strained and terrible relationship. Come to find out, after a few years, he finds out he's related to a lot of not musicians, magicians. And he gets into magic. He gets into being a part of the dark arts and all this. And it goes on from there. I'm not going to give you a full biography, but that's basically what he does. He's a magician. He practices in the dark arts. He has played for and against hell and heaven. You know, he's sort of a double agent. He's like the purgatory character. He really plays for himself when it comes down to it, if you think about it. You know, he does what he does for himself. And he's an anti-hero in a way, but I mean, he's a good guy. He really is. He has a good heart. I mean, he goes into these things. He's very rough and rugged, and these comic books, especially the original HellBlazers from Vertigo and DC, are adult-oriented faux show. Trust me, it's some interesting stuff. My kid likes to look at the comics while I read them. She doesn't want me to read to her, but she likes looking at the pictures, and I've had to change the screen on the computer here because, I mean, it gets very graphic. And I don't know if it was the first, but it was definitely, I think, a game changer in the comic book world. Constantine was, with the graphicness and everything like that. So, you know, Constantine, the first 10 issues. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The first 2 are kind of slow. It kind of picks up in the second one. I mean, the first one has a really good story to it. It's this hunger, you know, and these flies. And it's a demon that has been exorcised but then released by a friend of Constantine's. And it takes over his friend. Well, I say takes over. It's kind of like it marks his friend for death later on. It shows back up later. I'm not really going to give these stories away to you, but I'm just kind of explaining what happened in the first 2 or 3 issues. And it was okay. You know, it was kind of slow. Like, I was worried I wasn't going to like it. But it was okay. It starts picking up around issue 3. And I mean, when I say issue 3, I'm talking about the second story arc to really come in. So it could be like issue 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever. But, you know, it picks up later on in the first few issues. And it's worth the wait, it really is. It starts getting good. The battle between the tongues of fire and hell, which if you decide to read, becomes more and more focused on Constantine being the middleman, that both sides wanting him to fight for them, and he not wanting to have anything to do with it, but he's being thrust into it by different demons, and they've been trying to be thrust into it by different love interests, or a love interest who has direct ties to the tongues of fire, which the tongues of fire, if you haven't guessed, are would be on the side of heaven and the righteous and all this, but a hypocritic righteousness. You'll have to, if you really want to know, you'll have to read. But the first 10 issues, I will say, very good. I do have one pet peeve, and it may just be because I'm not the brightest guy in the bunch, and it kind of frustrates me a little bit. But we'll dive into this. One of my biggest issues with Constantine, I think this is going to be not only the first 10 issues, but all the way throughout the series, is, and I get why they do this, because they're just very good writers, and they like to make sure you get a full description of the scene around them. They want you to be able to smell, feel. They want to touch all 5 senses. It's 5 senses, right, hon? It's 5 senses, right? Your 5 senses. 5 senses. Sorry, had a dumbass moment. They want all 5 of your senses to be tingling throughout this comic book, and they definitely do a very good job. I mean, they describe the smell, the way the ground feels, the way the air, you know, swirls above your head. It's a really good thing to do, but it does get old. You know, every 4 or 5 pages this happens, and it's like, I get it. You guys are really good at what you do, and you're trying to make sure we understand that and make sure the scene is properly described to the reader. Even though they can see it, you want them to feel it. But it gets old. And it is so frustrating, you know, when I have to end up skipping a few letterboxes and getting to the next page because there's no dialogue. It's just the scene being described to you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's a good idea. You know, it's not a bad, terrible thing. But it gets annoying when you get, 3 pages, then it happens. 3 more pages, and it happens. And there's like 20 boxes of nothing but inner monologue. Yeah, very wordy. And it can be a little annoying. So I will say that kind of influenced my rating a little bit. I hate to do it on that. But, I mean, I'm probably going to have this issue throughout the series. But if you really enjoy the series like I have, you will push through it. So I'm going to say HellBlazer, the first 10 issues thus far, it gets a 4.5 out of 5. I couldn't give it a solid 4, and I couldn't give it a solid 5. I didn't feel like the whole box issue, the whole wordiness was bad enough for it to be taken down a full notch. But I didn't feel it deserved perfect because of the wordiness. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to give it a 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 exercise demons out of 5. It's been good, though. I mean, I would suggest it. It is, like I said, wordy, and it's different than your regular comic. If you're not into darker, more sci-fi, brooding type stuff, then you're not going to like it. I honestly am into it, sort of, and I keep hearing about this Justice League Dark. I don't know anything about it, and definitely plan on checking it out. It's Justice League, but, darker, with Constantine, with the Phantom Stranger, Constantine being the leader of said group. And I want to check that out soon. Hopefully I'll have some stuff on that in the next few shows to give you guys a good interview on Justice League Dark. But, yeah, Constantine, HellBlazer, the first 10 issues, really good. Like I said, 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 dead, or 4.5 exercise demons out of 5. There is one thing I would like to say, though. The New 52, they reanimated the Constantine comic and changed the origin story. And I felt like, I've been trying to read up a bit on this New 52 bullshit. And I don't think I like it. I haven't read any of the comics from it, as far as I know. But I've been reading more and more about it, and I just don't like the way they did it. It started with Flashpoint, and the Flash goes back and changes time, is not able to mend it properly, and it's like another Infinity Crisis. It's like another crisis. It's them revamping their universe. And that can be cool. I mean, their sales go way, way up, when they do that. But, I don't know. It's just something about this one I don't really enjoy or like. I haven't read anything, but the more and more I read about it, it's just, a redcon. It's just a big fat redcon, Garrett Bennett, everybody says. Possibly. I actually don't really know what a redcon is. I'm unfortunately not linguist in the linguist ways there, redcon. But yeah, I don't think I like this New 52. And I don't think I like the way they've done Constantine and Batman and all that. But what it is what it is. I'm trying to get some more reading done now. If any of you have any requests for comic books to be reviewed, rewriting it and changing it. Thank you, Garrett, for defining it for me. Yes, I am not the brightest in the world. I do appreciate that. But yeah, I think if any of you have a request on something you might, a story arc, not a whole series. I'm reviewing, the HellBlazer whole series because I want to do that. But I will take breaks away from set. It's 256 issues. It's going to be a while before we can actually finish the whole series. I'm starting at 88, and I've got to get to, 04. So, that's going to be, my background, stories that I read when I have nothing else to do, or, when I just feel like reading something. But if any of you have any requests on stories you might want reviewed on the show, story arcs, more than likely would be the best. Give me a holler here at Spreaker or on Facebook. Let me get our Facebook link for you guys so you can send me a message on Facebook. It's easier to get me on Facebook than anything else. Just message the Facebook here and say, I want you to review this Boo Bear, or review that Boo Bear. I am your slave, damn it. But yeah, here it is. Here's the link to our Facebook page, Exit 92 Radio. Remember, leave a like while you're there. It's not that hard. You just click a damn button. And if you'd like to send me an email, because I know some people don't do Facebook, but if you'd like to send me an email, you can send it to exit92radio@gmail.com. Just send it there. If you have a request for the comic book report, put CBR in the tagline, and let me know. But yeah, I'm going to call it a night. I only do these things for like 30 minutes or so, just to get a good review in of a couple of things, and then we call it. So yeah, there is your reviews of Injustice Gods Among Us Year 4, plus HellBlazer, John Constantine issues 1 through 10. Injustice scoring a 4 out of 5. HellBlazer scoring a 4.5 out of 5. Thank you for tuning in tonight to the Comic Book Report on Exit 92 Radio.